Hello, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, LinkedIn. Happy New Year, YouTube. How's it going? So the new year is a time for reflection. We know that, it's just a day like any other, the 1st of January, but somehow it brings with it a lot of meaning. It's a new year, it's a new page. So today, I'm Virginia Cinquemani, by the way, the director and founder of Green Gorilla Consultants Ltd. Today, I'm going to talk about how to make the most out of this year. First of all, I'd like to ask you, though, how are you? How do you feel? Because I know that we started this new year kicking 2020 in the backside, really excited about the new year, positivity and everything. But a couple of things in the last few days have obviously started to make us question, well, certainly they did to me, the new lockdown in the UK, the awful happenings yesterday in the US, and everything in between. So we might have a lot of positivity, but we need to face the reality as well. So how can we do that, especially for sustainability professionals, who my main audience? How can we focus our efforts this year to make our goals happen, whether in our professional life, or whether in our private life, whether our sustainability goals are large? How can we do that? So in my courses, in my coaching, in the Sustainable Mastermind, which I'm going to talk about a little more at the end of this live session, we focus a lot on planning. Now, you might tell me, okay, yeah, planning, great. I did it in 2020 and my plans were completely shattered by the economic downturn and the pandemic and everything. True, for most of us, 2020 has been quite disruptive. But I got to say from first-hand experience that planning is always helpful for two main reasons. One is that it gives you direction. I always say a goal gives you direction. Sometimes you don't hit the target, but at least you have a road to take. Sometimes you do hit the target in spite of everything happening. It gives you focus. It keeps your mind engaged. So Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, the author of The Little Prince, wrote that a goal without a plan is a dream, and it's very true. So you need actually to have a plan, to have a goal in order to progress what you want to achieve. Otherwise, it's just a wish and it stays in your drawer. We don't want that. So it's important for having direction, but it's also important to regain some form of control over your life. Our lives have been effectively very constrained in the last year nearly. So it's 9 months coming to a year. The fact that we have a plan, the fact that we have things to do and actions to take gives us control back on our lives. And this is very important psychologically. It's very important to retain that control. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me how you're feeling. If you're live today with me right now, or even if you're watching this as a recording, tell me how you feel right now, because it's important to acknowledge anyway. The first point, in fact, of my 10 top tips for the new year to really smash your sustainability professional goals is to take charge of your feelings and reflect upon what's happened last year. What were your achievements and what were the lessons? Because I'm sure within the year, something good has happened. I always invite my clients to look at the silver lining, even in the most awful of situations. Is really, really important, because there are always lessons to be learned. So, but also for the achievements, because we sometimes very quick to dismiss, the good things that we've done. Sometimes we are focusing on achieving the next thing and then achieving the next thing, but we forget to celebrate. We're going to talk about celebrating in a minute. But so reflect upon last year's achievements and the lessons that 2020 left you. It's very important to understand what can you do differently this year. How can you adjust, the aim for your goals, whether that is wanting to start a sustainability movement, start changing career, or whatever else that you have planned and you dream of. Now, in order to help you to strategize, and I hate that word, but it works in this sense. So in order to help you to form, or adjust the aim in things that haven't really worked, I created for you a strategy page. Now, I'm going to share it with you right now. You can, it's in the link below in YouTube, but also in the link in LinkedIn. So this is what it looks like. Apologies, it's quite small, but I have created, actually, let me show my little face as well. I've created a strategy page on Google Docs so that everyone can view it, and then you can save it in your own computer or on your own folder in Google Drive. And it's about having a strategy effectively. So for what can you do differently? So if you have an issue, if you have a problem of some sort, or something that you want to address, you're looking for a job, you can't find a job, or even in your personal life, you want to get vegan, you go vegan, but you don't have the strength to do it, or you haven't managed yet. Or if you want to create a new sustainability movement or starting a sustainability blog or whatever that is. So write down the issue and then start analyzing. So follow the strategy plan that I offer. And just start analyzing. Now, the fact of writing, and if you can write by hand, is actually even more powerful because it makes you reflect in a way that writing on the computer doesn't really. And good morning, Jaime. Thank you for being with me today as well. Great to have you here. So start analyzing what are the barriers. So what happens? Why do you think something is not happening? What are the barriers? And then brainstorm in the form of a list or a mind map, 10 ideas for each barrier that you find to your goal. Okay. And then once you do that, at that point, you will have your aha moment and say, okay, that's why I asked you to write 10 ideas, not 3 or 2, because it really pushes you to think about alternative ways of addressing your issues and the things that are blocking you. So so you write all of these lists or mind maps around the issues. And then finally, think about, some sort of positive affirmation that can help you maximize the opportunities there. Positive affirmations sometimes are a bit wishy-washy, but if you think about, I'm going to show the world what I'm able to do. I can do it and I'm going to show the world. So try and formulate it in a way that you can actually demonstrate to others what you can do. And then finally, think about the habits that you can create to support this new way of thinking, this new way of doing. So think about the easiest to implement habits that you can put in place to address the issue and overcome the barriers. So I hope that this is useful. I hope that this is something that you will use. I use it myself for my own life, and sometimes, reflecting, we never have time to reflect. We never take time to reflect. And it's something that I am going to correct. It's one of my New Year's goals to journal a bit more and to put down in writing things that don't work so well and how I can strategize to make them work well. So that's the first point. Reflect upon what's happened last year, what hasn't worked, how can you change. Point number 2, plan for this year. So again, you might think, oh my God, I know what I want to do. But the thing is, when you write it down, in spite of what's happening around you, you have direction, like I was saying before, you regain control of your life, you feel that sense of, that you have a purpose this year. You want to achieve something, you're going to achieve it. What I suggest you do, and again, this is something that I do with my coachees and with my clients, is to plan for the whole year in January. And it seems quite daunting, but it's a proper plan. It's actually going down into the nitty-gritty of, okay, I need to write to such and such to ask about, a product that they have, whatever. So we go to the really small details of the tasks. So plan for the year. start with a vision. Where do you want to be at the end of the year? But I will push you to think about 5 years time, or even 10 years time, if you can imagine yourself there. It's important to have that emotion attached to it. So really think about your vision. What do you want to be, where you want to be? Think about the money element, think about the living element, the family, the sustainability. What do you want to achieve in sustainability in 5 or 10 years time? Have that vision very vivid in your head. If it helps, write it down. Actually, I would suggest that do write it down. It makes a huge difference. And then have that goal in your mind, vision and big goals. So what does it mean exactly? What do I want to get to? Be as specific as you can in terms of money, in terms of sustainability vision, in terms of family situation, living situation, friends, whatever, work, everything. Be specific. And then you grill it down to projects and milestones to get you there this year. Okay, so let me just have a look at the chat. I can see. Thanks for the thought-provoking session. Thank you very much. I hope you find the whole thing thought-provoking and helps you. And thank you, Jaime, for summarizing my points. I love that. So projects and milestones for this year. So think about what are the 4 major things that will take you to your goal at the end of the year, and plan accordingly. So do you want to start a blog in sustainability? Okay. How many, I don't know, how many people do you want to read your blog by the end of this year? So that could be a good target, like a very measurable. That's the other thing. It needs to be smart. So it needs to be measurable. It needs to be actionable. It needs to, I always forget the S. Forgive me. Time bound. Okay, I'm going to the T because that's the most important bit. It needs to be time bound. So by the end of 2021, I want my sustainability blog to be read by 1,000 people a month, or whatever you think is achievable for you. Stretch your imagination in terms of what you're comfortable imagining, but don't go too far because otherwise you dismiss it as impossible. So it needs to be something achievable in your mind, but they is stretching, if you see what I mean. So think about how you get there, though. So what are the milestones from here until the end of the year to have 1,000 readers for your sustainability blog? It could be, okay, I need to research the topics. Okay, so Q1, so between now and the end of March, I'm going to research all the topics that I want to cover. Q2, and I'm going to perhaps set up the website. Q2, I'm going to start writing, and I have a schedule of writing at least a post a week. Q3, I'm going to start promoting my blog more widely, etc., etc. I'm making it up as I go. But the thing is, it's important to have actions associated with your goals and with your vision. You see how we're going down in granularity. The other thing is, once you have the broad idea of what you want to achieve for each project, for each quarter of the year, and don't overdo, okay? 4 projects is a lot of work for you, especially if it's a side hustle and it's not your job. If it's your job, then of course you can plan more. But having 4 side projects is plenty. Probably aim for 2, given the situation, 2 or 3, but do them. Do them. And I'll tell you my own story in a minute about doing, following this process last year. So the next step is to write down the tasks. You can use Trello, you can use Asana, you can use a spreadsheet, you can write them by hand. But it's very important to write down at the beginning of each quarter the list of tasks that you need to accomplish in order to reach that goal. So, for example, in the example of the sustainability blog, you have as Q1 project to research. So what does it mean to research? That's too broad. It would mean perhaps having, check, the top 3 newsletters in sustainability every week. Okay, so that's one task. Write down a list of topics that would be interesting to cover. That's task 2. Perhaps be even more specific, a list of 10 items to write about, or 10 topics to write about. It needs to be very action focused. So it's best if you start with a verb, so an action. Write down another task could be to interview people. So brainstorm guests to interview for my blog, and so on and so forth. So be very specific. The more specific, the more your brain will have no barrier in undertaking these tasks, twice, 3 times a week, whenever you have time to dedicate to your projects, and say, oh, okay, I can do that. So something easy to do, like an half an hour job, no more than that. So the task should be very granular, but very action oriented and very short, so that your brain doesn't have any objections. Sometimes something is overwhelming and we don't do it for that reason. So that's it. So every beginning of the quarter, let's say now, once you have a clear idea of the projects for the year, you start writing the task for this quarter. Next quarter, beginning of April, you're going to write the task for next quarter, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? Let me have a look at it. Yeah, okay, I'm going to have a look. Thank you very much for the comments. Okay, and I know that Jaime is writing down for everyone what I'm talking about. Perfect. Okay, so that was point 2, plan for this year. And I suggest you do that this way, or as close to this way as possible, going from the big vision to the small tasks, because it's actionable, because it makes something that is up in the air, blue sky thinking, into something that you're going to actually achieve. No matter what happens outside, that's the other thing. Of course, some stuff is dependent on the conditions that we are in, on the political scenario, on the pandemic, whatever else. But other things are completely down to you, completely. And I would say, even in this situation, lots and lots of stuff you can do, like a blog, you can write in whatever situation. It doesn't really take anything. Of course, if you want to change jobs, is a bit more tricky because it's connected to other people. It's dependent on other people offering you a job, or the job market. But still, you can achieve a lot by yourself, even if the situation outside is a bit, not so good. Okay. Now, my own experience is that I started this process last year. I'm part of a sort of mastermind of American entrepreneurs, which I absolutely love. And they have this system of planning your whole year in a piece of paper. And that is what hooked me to it. Plan your whole year on a piece of paper. Now, once you got that plan, and I've done it last year, and in spite of everything, I haven't achieved absolutely everything that I had on the plan because of the situation. But I have published my book, Sustainable, as you know, and I have finished the master classes, training courses that I wanted to do. So, fantastic, even in spite of what was happening. So, and it's down to me, but it's really the plan. It's the structure of the plan that helped me incredibly to regain control of my life. Okay, number 3. Number 3. The hardest question that you need to ask yourself this year is, what do you want? Sounds simple, right? But what do you want? What do you really, really want? Because sometimes you're like, okay, going with the flow, we get buttered because the situation is not ideal. We can't go out now in the UK, we're in lockdown. But what do you really want? If you focus on what you really want and who do you want to be, which is the second very difficult question, you're going to open up a lot of possibilities, and you're going to focus your mind into the sort of person you want to be. So I am quite provocative when I say, do you want to be the person that slumps on the couch every evening, Netflixing until they pass out? Or do you want to be the person that in the evening, maybe now and then you do some Netflix, there's nothing wrong with that. I do that as well. But for the majority of times, they read, for example, and they learn, or they watch videos that are progressing their career. It's the type of person you want to be. There is nothing wrong with doing Netflix and a glass of wine now and then. It's when it becomes a habit and is not intentional. It's a habit. Habits, by definition, is something that happens without you thinking too much. But if you are more intentional this year about who do you want to be and what do you want to do, things are going to change massively. So life doesn't happen to you. You make life happen if you want. Point number 4, and of course, feel free to ask me questions if you want, or put comments in the chat panel. Write down your plans. So it's very important to write down because it allows you to be held accountable. If you have your plan, so everything in one piece of paper of what you want to achieve in quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the overall vision, perhaps, to inspire you in a piece of paper, an A4, and put it next to your desk, is really motivating because you have it there. And also, if you write it down, it's not in your head anymore, it's being put out in the world. It has so much more power. So write it down, have a summary somewhere that you can see it, and remind of yourself and your goals and your vision and who you want to be and what you want to do. Put everything in one piece of paper. By the way, I'm going to talk about the new mastermind that is opening up in March, everything going well, where we do this anyway. This is part of what we do. And although it's March, still a lot of time to accomplish your goals. What else? Have regular check-ins every week, every month. So one thing is creating your plans and your goals, but how many times you actually haven't followed through. And there are many, many reasons of why this happens, okay? External reasons, internal reasons. Again, as part of the mastermind, we go into the details of why you behave in certain ways because it's important. But one way of ensuring that you actually do what you promise yourself to do is to have regular check-ins with yourself. So every week, every month, you look at your plan and say, okay, where am I at? That's why it's really interesting and quite useful, well, at least for me, to have all my tasks for the quarter in Trello, because I can tick them and say, okay, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. And it's a good way of tracking and measuring. And that's why the task needs to be quite measurable so that you know when you have achieved your goals. Yeah, if you can't measure it, it basically doesn't exist. So have a way of regularly checking, maybe on a Friday morning or a Saturday morning with your coffee in hand, see where you are, where you're at with your plan, and see where you're at with your task and your projects. Another very important thing for sustainability is to feel the connection with other people. Last year, one thing that taught us all, I think, is how much we miss people. And it definitely brought up a sense of community, and we heard that many, many times. So let's capitalize on that. Sustainability is a public affair. Sustainability can't be done by yourself in isolation. What I do, which is teach other people, is my contribution towards sustainability, as well as my other, activities in my private life, being vegan, planting trees, whatever. But the most important thing by far is creating this ripple effect, is having the, basically showing others what you're doing and connecting with others. And I love this African way of saying, sticks in a bundle are unbreakable. A stick by yourself, you can break it quite easily. But sticks in a bundle are unbreakable. We need to connect with others in order to achieve real results. And that's why, again, the mastermind is made of people, the one that I lead. Keep sharing your experience. Keep learning from others. Maybe a project will come up and be so powerful because it's you and others putting it together. You can do a lot by yourself, but you can do so much more with others. So don't underestimate the power of connection with others, whether, as I said, you're learning from others or you're teaching others or you are sharing your experience. If you don't feel you can't teach others, but you can definitely share your experience. You can use platforms like LinkedIn or YouTube or Instagram to, for the force of, as a force of good. There is also Wonder, is another fantastic platform to share your experience and create projects together with others. So seek your way to share your experience with others and make others richer for that and absorb the others' experiences as well. That's the only way we can progress sustainability, the only way. Number 7, have fun. Have fun. Don't forget to have fun. I know at the moment everything looks so gloomy, but I tell you what, you can always, and forgive me for being so happy-go-lucky, but if I told you about my private life, you think like, how can she keep, positivity that way. I mean, I have a wonderful life, but I also have my challenges. But I always prioritize seeing the silver lining, seeing the good things in the situations and what I can learn from them. But it's super important also to have fun, just simply have fun. Whether that is for you, is whatever you like doing, and try and do more of it. And I know we're a bit constrained at the moment, but it's not necessarily just going out and drink yourself numb or travel. It could be anything like spending quality time with your family at home. It could be having a lovely walk in the woods now and then, and get out and take fresh air. That's, for me at least anyway, it makes me feel good. Probably is not your definition of fun, but it makes you feel good. And the other thing is celebrate your wins. So as you progress your plans, as you progress the year with whatever you have that you want to achieve, celebrate, write it down. Maybe have a jar of great moments of 2021, and then at the end of the year you open it up and you see how many great things happened this year. It's definitely a way of supporting your mental health, definitely a way of rewarding yourself for your efforts. And consider also rewarding yourself for every time you achieve one of your projects in whichever way you can and want. Let me read some of the comments. Sharing your goals is a great way of measuring and validating them, getting new ideas and new perspectives. Absolutely. There is also an accountability element there, Amit. The more you share your goals with others, the more you feel responsible for actually achieving them, because you don't want to look like a fool that said, oh, I'm going to do this and that, and then you don't do it. So the accountability element in sharing is really important. Thank you for reminding me of that. So the last 2 points, cut yourself some slack. Alongside with having fun, it's really important to honor the breaks, the reflection times. I had a wonderful time at Christmas, although we were at home, didn't do much at all, like probably most of us. But I read a lot, I've done puzzles, I played with my kids, I watched some good movies, Christmas movies with the kids. Mainly, I reflected. I got a notebook and I wrote down a lot of things. So I wasn't quite working, but I was reflecting upon my year. I was reflecting upon my business. And I enjoyed it. And I came back with a lot more energy and a lot more ideas that I know are going to serve me really, really well for this year. So I'm the first one to ignore when I'm tired and keep on pushing. But I have learned in the last few months, especially, that I need my time. I need my time off. I need to just have days in which I don't want to do much. And that's absolutely fine. I go out for walks. I drink my coffee. I love coffee, by now. It's also important to plan for these times of reflection and times of, pause. Just like agriculture cannot work if you keep on cultivating the same piece of land. You need to let it rest sometimes, and that's the same for us and our brains. They need rest, our bodies need rest, but our brain needs rest too. So consider also having digital free times. And I know lots of people say that, but it's not true. I have done a bit of digital detoxing during the holidays, and it was amazing. It was fantastic. I've done a lot more analogic activities like reading and puzzles and stuff like that. As much as I love my technology, I do, believe me, but it is important. The brain cannot be bombarded all the time with all this stimuli. So, but do plan these times of reflection and pause in the day, in the week, in the month, in the year. Try and plan for time off during the year, even though we don't know whether we can leave this, our homes or not. Because even if you're not doing anything, having time off will help you, and it will give you more energy, and you'll be a lot more productive when you come back. And I know these are not things that might be completely new to you, but do you do them? That's the difference between listening to something and actually achieving it. There is a big difference. So plan and do it. Just do it. Show up. Okay. Number 9. Keep your stubborn optimism shining. And again, very difficult. It's easier said than done. We live in very troublesome times, pandemics, politics, climate crisis, etc. But we still have, if there is a reason why we stay here. That's what I'm thinking, and this is what I believe. And I haven't planned to say that, but this just can pop up into our mind that there's a reason for that, I'm sure. There is a reason why we stay here, because we have the energy, hopefully, and the drive, especially sustainability professionals, to make a difference. So see how you can make a difference in 2021. Go back to the first questions. What do you want and who do you want to be? How can you make a difference in sustainability in 2021? And keep your optimism going, because the opposite, being pessimistic, doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help the world. It doesn't help the planet. It doesn't help people around you. Being optimistic is the short way to actually achieve something. Nothing gets achieved if you are pessimistic about the future. So it's a choice, man. It might not be natural to you, but it's a choice, and we ought to do it. We have a responsibility, especially as sustainability people that know what's going on. We have a choice and we must do it. We must keep our optimism going. And if you can't feel the optimism coming to you and shining, so there is a little technique, a couple of techniques I can share with you. One is look around you and see 5 things and name in your head 5 things that you like. As simple as that. When you feel a bit of a slump, look around you and find 5 things where you are that you like or you love or you appreciate. Is the gratitude element, or just appreciating beauty around you, that will bring you back. And the reason why it's 5 things, you can go on and do a little longer list of things you like or you appreciate or you love, the better it is, because your brain shifts focus from negative to positive. So that's one thing. The other thing you could do is to cut out any negative talks, any negative people. I know it's difficult, but you have to do what you have to do to protect your mental health. Cut out, feeds that don't serve you, social media that don't serve you. They're just negative. They are, they're not serving the purpose of advancing your optimism. Okay. Final point, guys. Show others what it means to be a sustainable leader. So all of you have in you the leadership capabilities, because you have the knowledge. If you're listening to me, probably you're already a sustainability expert or a sustainability enthusiast. Show others what it means to live sustainably. Again, going back to my point from before, is the ripple effect, is what you show others that has, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to hear your message and how it's going to plant a seed that you will see flourishing in years to come. So show others and lead by example. Lead by being a sustainability warrior. Make noise if you want to, or choose the way you want to be. Going back to who you want to be. Do you want to be an activist? Then be an activist. Or do you want to be quietly writing about sustainability? Then do that. Create a blog. Or if you want to teach sustainability, then go and teach. There are so many ways of helping sustainability by doing just your job, your daily. If you're a consultant, just keep on doing that, but show others how you embody these values in your life, because again, it's not what you say, it's what you do that people will pick up. And the more of us that we do that, the better and the more powerful the response will be. Okay, another comment. Love the optimist point. Optimism accepts the truth of reality and looks forward to a brighter future. Optimism is the foundation of hope, and hope keeps us moving forward. There is a light at the end of this tunnel, and we will get there together. And that's Simon Sinek. Thank you, Amit, for bringing it to my attention. That's amazing. Optimism, there is another definition I really love, which is give the future a chance. Give peace a chance, used to say John Lennon. Give optimism, give the future a chance. So You might not feel that right now, but the future needs a chance from you to be positive. Okay. So you guys, half an hour, I said I will keep, nearly there. Do have a look at the strategy page that I shared with you as a freebie. But I want to talk for 1 second about the new mastermind that I'm going to create and open up in March. Some of my masterminders from, the current masterminders are in the school, so I'm really pleased to see you guys. It's just a group of people that share the same values and they want to learn more about how to be more impactful, because the Green Gorillas strapline is empowering sustainability professionals to make an impact. And this is what I want to do. And this is what I'm hoping I'm doing with the people that are in the masterminds at the moment. So opening up a new group is going to have a slightly different structure as the one I got now. I've learned a little bit from doing it last year. It's going to be more, it's going to be shorter but sweeter, very, very focused. So we're going to crush your goals. It's going to be coaching involved, one-to-one coaching. You're going to have a group of people to share experiences with. We're going to talk about sustainability and soft skills, and it's just good fun. Probably, other people can testimony to that. It's really good fun, and it's going to make you feel 100% when you finish it, because you're going to see things in a different perspective. Anyhow, guys, it's been a pleasure to do this live with you today. I hope you got some value out of it, but you can do it. 2021, we can do it. We can do it together. We can progress sustainability. We can progress our personal goals, our professional goals. It just takes a little bit of planning and a shift in mindset. If your mindset is focused on positivity and optimism and a can-do attitude, then you can do it. Okay, get in touch if you want to know more about the Sustainable Mastermind. Let me just share with you right now the link to the strategy page. You can see it now at the bottom of the page. Download the strategy page for any issue you want to work out. Otherwise, get in touch, and I'll see you anyway next week. Have a great afternoon. Bye.